Thank you. Mr. Ruddy, let's start with you. You said in your testimony that News Nation has more than 5 times fewer viewers than Newsmax does, but that Newsmax nonetheless is paid substantially less for its content, even though it is producing 5 times more viewers. Those are striking numbers. What's the cause of that?
Market leverage and market power. News Nation is owned by Nexstar, and Nexstar owns today about 200 TV stations, and they go in with the cable operators to negotiate their agreements for those TV stations. They have incredible leverage because they have so many stations. So imagine if they're negotiating with Spectrum, Charter, goes by the name of Spectrum, and they have 50 stations in the various markets, and they want a certain retrans fee. So when they're in negotiations, they say to Spectrum, you better pay us the rate, otherwise we're going to take the stations off your cable system. And that could be devastating for a company like Spectrum. And then they also say, we have a cable channel, and we want you to pay us a certain amount, and if you don't pay us, we can go dark on our broadcast stations. Nexstar is not the only company that does this. ABC Disney has ESPN and a whole number of channels. Fox has a whole number of channels, and they all use and wield the leverage of their broadcast stations to get high fees for their cable channels. I'm an independent media company. I don't have the leverage that these broadcast companies. So one of the reasons we had the cap was to reduce the leverage so that they couldn't overpower the cable operators. And this is why cable bills are up over 100% in recent years, because of the immense power that these companies have.
Mr. LeGeyt, do you agree with Mr. Ruddy? Do you agree that it is market power that is resulting in higher fees being paid?
Absolutely not. I represent, at the National Association of Broadcasters, Nexstar's broadcast interests, so I can't speak to News Nation. But what I can say is this. When you look at the media landscape, we are distant stars in the solar system that is Meta, Google, Apple, Amazon, Netflix. Right now, this administration is reviewing a deal that would merge 2 streaming behemoths, right? Netflix, Warner Brothers, and I point that out.
Mr. LeGeyt, let me focus you on the specific question that I'm asking, which is, do you agree that the numbers Mr. Ruddy provided are accurate, namely that Newsmax has roughly 5 times as many viewers as News Nation, and that News Nation is paid more money than Newsmax is? Are those numbers accurate in your understanding?
So I don't have the viewership numbers in front of me, but I will stipulate to that if he's documenting those. And I don't have any visibility into News Nation's programming fees. That's not publicly available.
Yeah, then let me ask, assuming those data are correct, do you have any explanation for why that would be the case other than market power? That explanation seems plausible to me. Is there another one other than leveraging the market power to extract those higher fees?
I'm focused on ensuring that Nexstar actually has the market power it needs to compete with big tech, which has siphoned away from Nexstar and other broadcasters.
You don't want to answer that question. That's okay. Let's move on to a different question. This is a question for both Mr. LeGeyt and Mr. Ruddy. There's been a lot of discussion about local news. I agree local news is critically important. In both of your views, would eliminating or raising the media ownership cap strengthen or weaken local news, and would it increase or decrease diversity of views on air? Mr. LeGeyt.
It would both increase competition for and production of local news, and it would increase diversity of voices. And the reason is simple, that right now broadcasters are simply stifled in their ability to compete in this landscape. You have rules premised on the notion that broadcasters only compete against other broadcasters for advertising dollars, for audience, and for programming. And we know that that is not the case. Over the course of the last 20 years, 70% of the local advertising marketplace has been siphoned away from traditional media by big tech. We are competing for programming, NFL games with Netflix and Amazon, and we're competing for audience with all of these streaming services. According to Nielsen in December, streaming viewership was nearly half of all television viewership. Broadcast, just 20%. So we're competing against behemoths. The only way to invest in local news is to reverse this trend, gain some scale, and bring that revenue back to local broadcasting, and that is going to benefit local communities.
Mr. Ruddy, same question.
Well, I almost feel like I'm in a different universe than my respected guest or member here. But let's go through that. TV is doing well. Nobody's denying. They made almost $2 billion in 2024. They're projecting even bigger profits once this merger goes through. So what is the aid that they need to do to upend the congressional law? Why are they going and running around using the bureaucracy rather than going to Congress? Because they know they have no support in Congress, and the public opinion polls show they have no support. He said two things. One is, Nexstar, we know when they did the Tribune merger, ended up with 15, I think they're currently about 15 duopolies. In every case, they combined the two stations' newsrooms into one. That's the only way they make money. In their projections on the merger, they're saying because of the consolidation, they're going to have $300 million in savings, and almost half of it, $135 million, comes from local programming consolidation. The only local programming local TV stations do is local news. That's pretty much the whole thing. So that's where this is all going. They can make fortunes, and it's local news that suffers. And
all right, final question. In 2023, I criticized then FCC Chairwoman Jessica Rosenworcel for delegating to the Media Bureau and to an administrative law judge a decision on the Standard General acquisition of Tegna. At the time, I wrote with my House counterpart, Congresswoman Kathy McMorris Rogers, quote, first, to keep the commission accountable to Congress and the public, a full commission vote is required for certain matters, particularly those involving significant legal or policy consequences. Designating a multi-billion-dollar transaction such as the Standard General Tegna transaction for an ALJ hearing is precisely the type of serious decision for which commissioners must take responsibility. This is a question for all four of you. Do you believe the FCC should have a commission-level vote on the Nexstar Tegna merger? Mr. Ruddy.
well, especially because they're subverting what Congress said, and it was a congressional issue. You know, Mr. Johnson worked for Ajit Pai when he was chairman. Ajit said, he was Trump's chairman at the time. He said several times it was congressional law. He didn't like the law, but he said we had to, his words, the law must be obeyed. Chairwoman Rosenworcel, under the recent administration, nixed a Nexstar deal, saying that it violated the congressional law of the 39% cap. Brendan Carr was the ranking Republican at the time, and he offered a concurring opinion that did not dispute that.
Okay, Mr. LeGeyt.
The NAB doesn't advocate on any specific transaction, but we certainly support the full commission voting to raise the national ownership cap.
Mr. Johnson.
Under the Communications Act, Senator, the commission has discretion to decide whether, with very limited exceptions, whether to decide something at the Bureau or commission level. Even when something is decided at the Bureau level, there are mechanisms for review before the full commission, as well as ultimately in court.
Mr. Waldman.
We haven't taken a position on that, but in general, issues of this import should be at the commission level.
Thank you. Ranking Member Cantwell.